need to. We don't want to stick out too much and have this huge arch, which a lot of us fall into this. And then we don't want to tuck in and kind of slouch. So find a center, find a medium. And then when you do that, sometimes the shoulders want to go forward. So just roll the shoulders, push them down into their sockets, and then keep your rib cage tucked in. So that's just kind of where we want to be when we're loading. Hinge, shoulders back, feel that hamstring stretch. Now, if you can go deeper here, go ahead and swan dive all the way down to the floor if you're ready for that. If not, stay up a little higher. So from here, we'll just hold this for a couple breaths. Hamstrings feel tight. Sometimes they're weak, and that has the same feeling as tight. So most of the time when we are sitting a lot, we're not working our hamstrings all day like we do hip flexors, low back even. So those things tend to get tight, but our hamstrings tend to be weak, which has the same feeling of being tight. So it's hard to differentiate, you know, and if you're doing a lot of deadlifts, yes, maybe they're tight, but sometimes I go back to just being plain old weak because we're not using them unless we are working out and doing deadlifts or hamstring workouts. So let's take the toes out, find your knees wide and push them back to deep squat. So we're going to do a couple of these. If you need to, you can take it up a little bit higher, push your butt back, but just try and push your knees back. Keep the feet flat, toes forward hinge, deep breaths, toes out, deep squat, open the chest even more. We'll do one more, toes forward hinge, toes out, deep squat, push back. If you could do this against a wall and slide your back down against the wall and keep things up, that will for sure kind of work and help your hips big time. We used to do those in school a lot. Okay, now we're gonna go to one side here. We're gonna take a warrior two to a hamstring. So this is not a yoga class and I'm not a yoga teacher, but this is just a mobility flow, has similar movements to yoga. So just make sure to straighten out this leg. We're gonna bend this knee, make sure it doesn't cave in. So make sure it still follows the line of the middle to third toe. Your shoulders should be in line, stacked. So here's your warrior two. And then we're gonna push the hips back and you can rest your hand on your thigh. Hip flexor stretch. Let's do a couple more of those. So warrior two, bend, hip flexor stretch. We're just going to take it into a mobility flow. Two more. Last one. Come back to center. Take a goddess or deep squat. Push the knees back, but we're going to stay higher this time. Push the shoulder in. Back to deep squat. A little deeper. Other shoulder. Whew, deep squat. Those always get me, a torso twist. And last one. From here, we're gonna go ahead and drop and still stay on this side, getting into a low lunge. Take the top of the foot, lay it down on your mat. Your knee can go over your toe here because we're gonna have our hand forward. So if your knee goes over your toe, great. You can even push this back and push your knee over toe. So we're gonna push hips towards the ground and then we're gonna push back, hamstring stretch. From here, make sure you don't round. Think of opening your chest. Let's do it again, push. Try and push the knee over the toe, keeping the foot flat, and then push back. Open the chest, pull the shoulders back. Two more. Last one. So in fact, pushing your knee over the toe in this position, if you had your foot, let's say a little closer even, you would really be stretching out the Achilles, the tendon, the calf muscle. So that is a really good stretch to do when you're ready for knees over toes. But having hands in front of you, pushing knees over toes is okay when you're not loaded up with weight, as long as your hands are in front of you. From here, we're going to go into a lizard thread. So take that front foot, walk it out a little bit wider. Drop your hips a little bit lower if you can. You can lower the elbows. And then we're going to open up towards the knee. Now don't sink into this bottom shoulder. Press the elbow in to the mat. Lift the ear away from the shoulder. Let's thread through that arm. So take the top arm, bring it down. Exhale, open. So we're working the body as a whole because we're getting this thoracic twist, getting that thoracic spine moving as well. Get one more in there. And then take your top arm. Let's go ahead and bring your bottom arm up to your hand. Take your top arm, wrap it around your knee. Tfl dips. You want to lift this front foot and you're going to dip. I always face my back to you guys here. Dip your hip without sinking in. You want to press that floor away from you. Work that shoulder rotation down. But then your hip wants to press down. So you press your hip down and then bring it up. So we're going to do dips here. And you can bring it up to a little hamstring stretch on this side. So dip, bring it up. I inhale at the top and then exhale, dip. Look over the shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale, push the hip back. All right, let's go ahead and take both hands to the front. Walk that foot back into a normal lunge with a 90-degree leg. Bring your body up. Press your hips forward without arching. Squeeze your butt. So none of this. Tuck it under and lift. Reach up and over. Exhale. Inhale, pull down. Exhale, reach. Hip flexor reaches. Inhale, pull it down. Exhale, reach. Inhale. Last one. From here, we're going to take a side angle. So hands down. Now you're going to turn your back toes towards me or towards the front. Keep this one bent. You can keep your hand on the ground or you can bring it up to your knees if you need to. So we're going to reach up and over as we bend the knee and then push back. Again, up and over. I guide my shoulder with the knee so that my knee does not cave in. So I'm just trying to help my knee stay in line. You can do the same thing being up here. So feel how that stretches out the hamstring, but it also strengthens. You can feel that strengthen. From here, go ahead and take the hands down. We're going to keep this knee bent this time. And now adductor rock. So I want you to lift, push the butt back, drop the foot. Push the butt back even more, lower the chest, drop the foot and just kind of lift. We're going to do one more with our hands, our body upright here. And then we're going to drop this knee, keeping this leg straight still. And now push back. I want you to keep the foot flat this time and the toes forward. Push back. Almost as if now you're arching the low back. I'm gonna let you arch that low back with some control here. Arch and push the tailbone behind you. Feeling that inner thigh, the hips opening up on this side. And then go ahead and bring it in. All right, we're gonna do all that to the other side. I want you to start off with your wide straddle. So toes forward. Think of flattening your back and pulling the belly in. Deep breath here. Toes out. Deep stretch. And we're just going to do one more since we've done quite a few of these. And then toes out. Deep stretch. We'll go into our warrior two. So we'll fix this toe to the front and this toe to the side. Shoulders stacked like they're just one line coming up from your body. And then push the hip back. You can bend that knee even. And now straighten that knee. And push back. 2 more. Last one. Take both toes out to goddess or deep squat, but higher. Push the shoulder in. Spread your toes. Other side. That way you got some stabilization with your foundation, your feet. And then drop this knee, come to low lunge. All right, our low lunge is going to dip the hip, press the knee over the toe if you can, or at least enough to where you feel a stretch in that hip. And then push the hips back. Try and think of your neutral spine, your flat back. Push the knee over the toe, keeping that foot flat. Push back. We got 2 more. I've had a hard time putting my hair in a bun lately because it's so heavy. But this ponytail is like driving me crazy all the time. It's on my face. All right, let's walk this leg out so we can get to lizard. So a little bit wider lunge here. And you can always just keep it right here. If this is your lizard, great. You can step it out wider than your mat if you need to. Drop your elbows if you're ready for that. Remember, there's no bad movement. It's only ones that we're not ready for. So make sure you're ready for whatever movement we're doing. Let's reach up. So we're twisting towards that knee with our chest. Thread through. Reach up. Thread through. So we're getting some upper back and shoulders. And last one. So get your last thread in there. Come up onto the hands. Let's walk this foot in just a little bit more. Grab onto that knee. Tfl dips. Lift your front toes. Pivot off that heel. Dip your hips. Look over the shoulder. Press your floor away from you. Oh, that stretch feels good. And then we're going to lift. And then we'll dip. Next time I got to remember, start on the other leg so that I can be facing you. Get you a couple more dips in there. And then meet me up. Drag that bottom knee right under your hip. And this one at 90. So 90 degrees, hopefully in both legs here. Remember your booty. Tuck it in, up, shoulders back and down. Hip flexor reach, coming up and over, and then pull that elbow towards the side. Exhale, up and over, and bring it down. Up and over, down. This feels so good to me. Like I can never get to these. Let's do one more. All right, side angle to hamstring. So we're going to take our hands down. We're going to lift that back leg. Turn the toes towards the front. You can stay right here, opening the chest, guiding your shoulder with that bent knee. And then you can stay low and come into hamstring. Bending that knee again, straightening the other, opening the chest. And I might have taken it more flowy on the last one, like swung my arms some way. You can do whatever feels right to you. This side does not feel like I want to do that. But I want to stay grounded here. You can see my shoulders are super tight. Everything feels super tight this week on me. All right, let's do some adductor rocks. Take the toes forward. We're going to keep this knee bent. The working leg, the side that we're working, is staying straight. So we're going to push back the hips more, maybe bend the elbows a little bit, and then bring it up. You can flex the foot on that straight leg and then bring it up. Because when we come down, we're going to keep the foot down to the ground. Last one. Now take that standing leg and bend it. Straighten out your other one. Keep the foot flat and the toes forward with your hands under your shoulders. Arch your low back for me now and push the tailbone back. Adductor rocks, and then exhale or inhale, come up. Exhale, push back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, push back. Inhale up. And exhale, push it back. And inhale up. Good. Let's get into, oh, I feel nice and stretched out in those hips. Now we're going to get